Hello, you beautiful people. My name is Abe, and this is Charlie. We are Redox Cinema, and we are back again for another House of the Dragon reaction. We are going to do episode 3. We do not know the name of the episode yet because, for whatever reason, HBO uploads them without a name. But we are back.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't posted it yet. We are 4 minutes before the show actually premieres.
Yes, indeed. But y'all, if you are new here, please consider subscribing and liking this video, sharing it with others as well, and also hit the notification bell so that you are notified when we have a new upload, please. This episode is also available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, specifically the discussion portion of the show, so you can find the link to that in the description down below.
And if you want to watch it uncut with us, it is available on Patreon and also for YouTube members. The Patreon can be found in the link in the description if you want to watch there. It's $5 a month. You can follow along with us. We'll give you a countdown. Just have to have your own copy of the show. And it's the same for here on YouTube memberships. There is a little join button now next to the subscribe button. So hit the join button. You can join for $5 a month as well and be part of this watch party with us.
Indeed. As you guys can probably see, we are without Davi. My brother is moving.
He is moving.
He is a busy, busy boy, and the show has to go on. We labored back and forth on this, but we know that it's impossible to avoid spoilers. I was seeing things about this episode almost being spoiled before the episode even comes out. So that's that's how crazy spoilers for this show are. But yeah, man, how you doing? You excited for episode 3? You ready for this?
I am just sad for Davi because we just recorded Sopranos before this, and he missed out on a crazy episode. And I'm hoping that he's not going to miss out on another crazy episode of House of the Dragon, but chances are
he will.
It's likely.
Yes. Yeah. But you know what? We powered through, and he'll watch it. He just won't be seeing his beautiful face on the screen with us. But yeah. Before we get into the episode, I'll go ahead and read some comments from our previous upload. This first one comes from Priscilla Fernandez, and it says, Tom Glencairn's performance as Aegon is magnificent, and his scene with Rhys as Otto was incredible. Yeah, I love that scene. That scene specifically was so good. I love the Otto like slow turn of the head when he tells him like Kristen Cole acted or is gonna do. He's like, brother, I don't even want to hear what you idiots had to do with whatever happened. This next one comes from Logan, and it says, Darren is the youngest son of Alicent and Viserys. He is living at Old Town as a squire for Lord Ormond Hightower, which is why we haven't seen or heard of him. He is very important in the books.
Okay, good to know.
They mentioned him in the last episode, and I was like, who?
Right. I don't think we've ever gotten an introduction to him whatsoever besides that name drop last episode. So yeah, curious why he has been left out of things just in general.
Well, it's just funny because he's the youngest, so I'm wondering if he was just like the castaway. They're like, we got all our heirs, and
I wonder if we like saw him just in passing as a child in season 1 and just didn't realize it. But yeah.
Good question. Someone let us know down below if that is the case. Yeah. The last one here comes from 10 Addy, and it says, thought you guys would like to know that Alan Taylor is a producer and director on House of the Dragon and also directed several Sopranos episodes and the Sopranos prequel that just came out recently. The HBO, the well runs deep, man. If you work for HBO, I guess you have a long time standing at some point.
Yeah. You work on these massive shows.
It's cool.
It's really cool.
Sure, that's very different. Sopranos to House of the Dragon. I mean, there's some stuff.
Yeah.
The politics always comes into play of stuff, but other than that, very different shows.
Episode 3.
So in the last episode, we got Aegon being pissed off, basically told Otto to, go screw. Gave the hand to Kristen Cole. Kristen Cole and Alicent are like, we're unholy, but then they keep, the Master of Tongues keep striking. So,
Hey, he's hand to the king, hand in the queen, Master of Tongues.
It's crazy.
We've got Aemond as well, mommy issues.
Yeah, cuddling with prostitutes. Whatever floats your boat, I guess, buddy.
What I'm interested in seeing is what sort of role Corlys is going to play, because they've been teasing him here and there, like him and then Alan's backstory, or his side thing. And somehow they're going to connect, right? Yeah. And Corlys hasn't gotten too much screen time yet,
right?
But I feel like he's going to play a heavy hand in what's going to happen.
I agree.
And also, did you read that comment? Someone
said, yeah. I was trying not to acknowledge it because it felt like a spoiler.
Oh, I don't know if they were. I don't know if that was given to us.
All we have seen at this point is Corlys like almost off his deathbed, and like recovering from going overboard.
Okay.
So I don't see how we would already know that unless it's been made clear and we just didn't know.
I did not know.
Here we go.
Can you even get that thing up?
Well enough for killing Blackwoods.
Put the boundary stones back.
We didn't move them.
Oh, did they move themselves then?
What's a boundary stone?
I don't know.
This is our land.
Ooh.
They all look like boys.
What house is this?
I don't know.
It's Brackenland.
Bracken?
Babe killer.
What did you say?
Ooh.
Your false Queen Rhaenyra is a kinslayer.
Oh.
Your uncle declared for Aegon, did he?
So we're going to see the clash of supporters beyond the realm. Like,
Aegon Targaryen is no true king, just as you are no true knight. You're both craven little cunts!
oh shit.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
Seriously though, these all look like kids, bro.
You wouldn't dare.
Oh, he's going to...
Oh my god.
What a cut. Jesus. He dared.
We don't see transitions like that often in this show. That was crazy.
You usually just see them actually like fight it out.
Right.
Jeez.
I need more backstory on these people.
Oh my god. Okay, so it
Holy
wasn't
shit.
just them.
Okay, yeah, this is a full
like,
battle.
Yeah, a whole war happened. So some time has to
Now,
have passed.
is this the Riverlands? Because they've been talking about the Riverlands being a big territory that they need to fight over for the longest time. I wonder if this is that.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, the two
Wow.
Erics.
Cannot fault him for keeping his oath.
And what of those who sent him?
Just wait till she finds out that it was Sir Kristen Cole who sent him.
Bro, I hope he and her get to go face to face at some point.
Otto Hightower would never have allowed this. Hotter blood has prevailed, I think.
Yeah. So she knows that this is not Otto's sanctioned.
Soon they will not even remember what it was that began the war in the first place.
It is easy enough. They usurped my throne.
That is one answer. Or was it when the child was beheaded? Or when Aemond killed Luke? Or when Luke took Aemon's eye? We teeter now at the point where none of it will matter. When the desire to kill and burn takes hold and reason is forgotten.
She puts it in that perspective.
When last we met, Alicent said I would make a fine queen. You've seen what has happened since then.
She came to me in the hours after your Lord Father's death. She knows war is coming, and that it'll be savage beyond all compare. I do not believe she wants it.
She sent a raven. I do not care to read her message.
Oh.
She did.
It is not her, but the men around her who seek bloodshed.
She permitted it.
As you permitted the murder of a little boy in his bed.
This is why I see Rhaenys every time. I'm like, she needs to be the hand.
Yeah.
She's always the one talking sense. Oh boy.
That was such a crazy cut, looking down on the grave and then looking up at him,
true.
who's responsible for both their deaths.
Great call out.
They'll be waiting.
This man's shitting himself. He has no idea what to do. Oh my god. He's got a massive stick up his ass.
Yeah. You notice that
Yeah.
necklace thing around now?
It's all hands, so he doesn't have the pin. Or maybe I don't see it.
He's got a special chair.
Call it what you will. I call it war, and so will Dragonstone. The question is, what are we going to do about it?
That dagger looks familiar.
In a matter of weeks, he will be able to harass the Blackwoods from the west.
Should we not aim to unite these armies and then strike as one?
Ah, the great military mind of the Citadel. Do
I
remind
served
me
around
which
with
link in your
Alicent.
chain denotes the art of war.
It's descended into chaos now.
The Riverlands are the key to the war.
So was the Riverlands.
Yeah.
I will ride out with those I can muster here, men I know, men I've trained.
You need time to raise the numbers to challenge the Rivermen.
Speed is my ally. I will turn the Crown land houses who declared for Rhaenyra to our cause. We will add their numbers to our own and then turn west, or I will enlist the Brackens, subdue the Riverlands, and take Harrenhal.
So impatient to ride with so few men. So like to be destroyed by the first stronghold you meet. A bold scheme indeed.
Well, the gods favor the bold.
They did not favor Sir Eric.
What say you, my king?
And what will you do if you encounter one or more of Rhaenyra's dragons? She'll want to answer for Sir Eric.
We will be more like to encounter one if we field one of our own.
That is precisely why you must remain, brother. It's a brave thought, but we cannot risk your loss.
He's so calculated. Like, you can just tell he's doing that on purpose.
I love how like they're lovey-dovey in the bedroom, but here they're like
Oh, it's power.
stepping on each other's toes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And also they are like really keeping Vhagar in the behind the scenes, so I'm sure that's gonna come down to like a final, like the finale type thing. Vhagar comes out and does some crazy shit.
I was told you turned back from your ship to bring warning.
I was not believed at first.
You saved my life.
What is the life of a queen worth these days?
So she did tell them.
As I would think, you would wish to reward me.
What price would you set?
Place at your court.
Wow.
You said your earnest desire was to flee Westeros.
And you let me go. You showed me grace when you could have withheld it. I know the workings of the Red Keep, and the movements of those who serve there. That is worth more than gold to you now.
Take it, Rhaenyra.
Sea Smoke, my late lord husband's dragon, has grown restless of late. We cannot know why.
Maybe he's lonely.
Or maybe because he knows that he's not dead.
Maybe.
Senses that he's still around somewhere.
Yeah, maybe. Never saw his body, so.
I mean, we saw him escape, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm saying.
Yeah,
The
right.
dragon never saw his body, so.
Right.
The Red Keep is in disarray. They have sent one assassin in the night, and their dragons are ever a short flight away. You must take the little ones further. To Pentos, I think.
When my mother died.
It is safer than anywhere in Westeros.
It's traumatic, though.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart to send my boys away, not knowing when I will see them again. But you have seen what may befall them here. Rhaenyra, I need you to be the mother to them that I cannot.
Wow.
And my sister?
I need Bailey here.
Because she has a dragon.
I cannot promise to make you happy, but I ask you, make this sacrifice willingly, for all of us.
Your Grace.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's rough.
And like just sending her kids away, like I don't know.
Right.
She doesn't seem too heartbroken about it, but
Yeah, but she's right.
She is
like,
right.
Pentos is not part of the war at all.
Right.
So
You
I'm
send
assuming
back-
she's sending her youngest, the ones with Daemon. So technically her Rhaenyra's brothers or
Yeah.
half brothers.
This has got to be Daemon, right?
I'd be shocked if it wasn't. Oh, this is sick. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep, it's Daemon.
Also, people can say what they want about the darkness. I love that lighting, especially like in the storm and all that. I thought that was dope.
I will say, I believe that they do that because they can mask a lot of VFX stuff.
Which is fine.
Which is fine, yeah. To make it more believable.
In my opinion, I think it's fine. Like, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
It's tough when, like, really long scenes are in the complete darkness. I think that's difficult, but when they're able to make it look cool like that, I'm all for it.
All right, who the hell's he here to fight, bro? He just sword drawn and this sketchy ass place.
Is there a crowd? You hear that? People cheering?
Yeah, yelling.
In a literal, like, flash flood. Jeez. What is this?
This looks like the place where
Daenerys?
Daenerys. It looks like a place where Daenerys had a vision, where it was snowing or something. Do you remember that?
I don't.
This is where Jon Snow killed her.
Is it?
I think.
I'm having a bad memory right now, to be honest. Oh my god.
All right. Shoot first, ask questions later. All right, who the hell is
I'm
this?
claiming Harrenhal.
Okay.
Apparently so. I, Sir Simon Strong, Castellan of Harrenhal, pledge fealty to Rhaenyra, House Targaryen, first of her name. I swear this by the old gods and the new. Supper is venison with black cabbage and peas. No red currant. Sorry about that.
Sounds appetizing.
And what of your lord? Larys Strong. He who sits at the false court of Aegon.
Larys Clubfoot is no lord of mine. He's a scourge upon this castle and this family.
Jeez.
My nephew, Lord Lionel, perished by fire, and his son too, here in this damp place. It was the first fire here since Balerion ended the line of Harren the Black.
Oh, so they know.
Called him club-footed. Crazy.
What then brings you to our corner of the Riverlands?
Harrenhal is the largest castle in the Seven Kingdoms. Or perhaps that has escaped your attention.
Well, it is also, not to be argumentative, in something of a state of disrepair, since your forebear incinerated much of it with his dragon.
Well, that is precisely why we must bring it into a state of repair. There are 40,000 swords in the Riverlands, the largest undeclared host in the realm. Only Harrenhal is of a size enough to garrison them.
You should know that a substantial number of those swords have now declared and are presently at war. Houses Bracken and Blackwood have long detested one another.
Yeah, I'm gonna say who's gonna bring those two together.
The answer to that is lost in time.
Beef so deep nobody even remembers.
Summon your Lord Paramount so that I may treat with him myself and turn them to our cause.
That would be Lord Grover Tully, but he grows frail. It's said that he can no longer speak, nor seal his bowels. Begging your pardon for the impression.
This man's about to die.
Of course, it had to be a Tully.
Perhaps the presence of the crown and a dragon will sharpen minds round these parts.
If you are successful, well, when you are successful, what then?
We march on King's Landing and take the throne.
The throne?
It's a big chair made of swords.
I'm surprised that he's surprised that they're trying to take the throne. Like, why else cause all this trouble? He didn't like that.
May I present my brother, Sir Gawain Hightower?
This man got a haircut?
Arrived last night from
Sir brother.
Alton.
Sir Kristen, how exhilarating to arrive at court after 3 long months on the road to find my Lord Father, who served 3 kings faithfully, unseated as Hand of the King.
Rough.
By a man from such modest beginnings. What a giddying ascent the gods have bestowed on you.
Sir Gawain has volunteered to accompany you into battle.
The backhanded compliments are crazy.
The march will be hard, sir.
No one is more delighted than I to march out to war with the Dornishmen.
Oh, they are going with Dornishmen?
May the Seven guide you. Good night, and lead you not into shadow and death.
I thank your grace for her prayers.
Unless Sir Kristen's Dornish, and I had no idea.
So he's received a favor from Rhaenyra and then now Alicent.
His brother, bro, he just be collecting favors.
Oh, the bodies are still hanging there, the rat catchers?
Oh my god. Oh. Yeah, I don't know if we've ever seen that. I've seen birds picking at them, but not like that vividly.
If dragons begin fighting dragons, we invite our own destruction. Fear of it is in itself a weapon. The Greens will make the same calculation. We must give Daemon time.
Perhaps it is time for you to think about secreting yourself somewhere safe, while we remain here as a source of distraction for the enemy.
You propose to conduct the war in my absence.
It would merely be a precaution.
It would be treason. You are fortunate you took it no further.
She's right.
This council would do well to remember that their queen wears the crown of my grandsire, Jaehaerys the Conciliator, the wisest of Targaryen kings whose reign outlasted every other, even Aegon the Conqueror's.
They're not happy to be listening to two women, I'm going to tell you that right now.
It would displease neither Rhaenyra nor the gods if Rhaenyra were named heir to Driftmark.
Rhaenyra, Lord of the Tides. The girl knows nothing of ships, nor even of dragons.
There is Rhaenyra or there is Joffrey, both soon to be far from the creak of ships and the ocean's roar.
So he doesn't want to make Daemon's child heir.
Yeah.
But it is also his granddaughter.
Well, you know, he also has this thing about wanting to keep his legacy. And so if she gets married to a man without Velaryon in the name, but Joffrey is a Velaryon.
Infant.
Yeah, no,
Right.
But he keeps the name. If he takes the heir, he keeps the name.
Tyraxes and Stormcloud are young and vulnerable. These eggs are even more fragile. But should all come to ruin here, you will bear our hope for the future.
It's kind of an honor.
Yeah, she needs to take care of children and
she's basically taking
baby
care of
dragons.
the future if they fall, which is a massive responsibility. Aw, poor Joffrey. Never thought I'd say that out loud. Oh, poor Joffrey.
And that name has a
bad taste in my mouth when I say it.
Yeah.
Like the one character that I want to root for in this entire show is Jacaerys. He's like the one that I'm like, you seem like you're just plain good. And the girls, we've seen little of Bella and Rhaena, but they also seem that way.
They kind of give off the innocence similar to what you got with the Stark kids.
Right, which is crazy because they're Daemon's children.
Right.
I feel sad about Jaehaerys, but I ought not to, I think. People die all the time, especially babes. They're so little, so they're taken so easily.
That should not be the case.
No.
It's so sad. Can't even grieve correctly.
You have as much claim to grief as anyone.
You?
I love Jaehaerys, but my concern has been more for you and what you have endured. Helena,
I forgive you.
What?
Oh, I don't think she was expecting that.
I said that I forgive you.
Wow, didn't even have a response.
Aegon the Conqueror reborn.
Just get on with it.
What exquisite armor?
I was given the Conqueror's name and his crown, so I shall wear his armor to war. I fly to meet Sir Kristen.
Small imposition before you depart, then, Your Grace.
Let's see what kind of things he whispers into his ear this time.
Another is that his grace was outwitted by his councillors and persuaded to fly to war with Sir Kristen, so the Queen Alicent may reign in his absence, with Prince Aemond at her side.
Oh my God, he's
so good at manipulating. He's so good at manipulating.
Who spreads these lies?
Matters little. Tales take on a life of their own, like weeds, unless they are tended.
Tend to them, then. Lord Larys,
It's going to change his mind.
my father always said he had no use for a master of whisperers, and yet I find myself wanting for one. I should be glad of your talents.
You honor me, Your Grace.
He just got himself a title, what he was looking for.
I think mayhaps I shall fly another day.
It does seem wise on reflection.
You could come out with us, my king.
They're all yes men, bro. It's so funny.
He's never f***ed a woman. You're sworn to chastity now.
Of course, Your Grace.
Yes, oh, yikes.
He doesn't know.
It's funny because they all think they're friends. It's supposed to be a dragon?
Yeah.
And the Massaria?
Yeah.
Was it? Wow, we're getting pan shifts to like random characters, it feels like. So we've focused on this guy for a hot minute.
So who is this? Introduce us.
Or is this someone that Massaria deployed?
It could be.
Who was your grandsire?
They call him the Conciliator.
King Jaehaerys.
I really shouldn't be telling you this. It could cost me my head. You are saying you're
So
a
she
Targaryen?
the cousin or brother of Rhaenys?
I'm the son of Balon the Brave.
Bastard brother to Prince Daemon
And the late King Viserys. Uncle to the one true queen, Rhaenyra Targaryen.
What?
Interesting. I didn't know that they had another bastard brother, unless he's lying.
So he's Rhaenyra's uncle, which means he's Daemon's brother and Viserys' brother.
Look, you can tell by his hair. Yeah, because I'm their half-brother, you Yeah.
All right. Yeah, he's BSing.
The rightful heir to the Iron Throne, my nephew, Prince Jacaerys Velaryon.
He's your other nephew.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yikes.
All hail the king!
All hail the king! I don't think he heard it.
Drinks for all, at the pleasure of the crown!
Yikes. He's frat boying this shit still.
So he did go out.
Yeah, I guess.
For the betting or whatever.
Did I tell you I came here as a lad?
Oh, God. Is he going to find Aemond in here?
Oh, my God. Imagine.
I know, just the teaser for you, my boy. No.
All right, we've never seen it be that graphic before on here, but he's 100% going to run into Aemond. Oh.
Yep. Saw that coming from a mile away.
You have come so far, and yet you still lie with your very first. What a fine, sweet thing. Did you f her like a hound? Woo! 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 Such is the madam's prowess that even now my brother will not sample another.
Oh, interesting.
Your squire is welcome to her. One oar is as good as another.
I'm so dead.
Wow. He just got shamed big time.
It also reveals to us that that's the first woman he ever slept with
yeah.
and
The
continues.
only.
Yeah.
Maybe not the only, but like he still continues to go back to her.
So he's really attached.
She hasn't read it yet, right?
No.
And it was an apology.
I don't know.
It was, remember? It was like the apology for her dead son.
Oh, that's right. She sent an apology, yeah.
Which is why we make for the Bull, a tavern with an excellent reputation on the Rosby Road, not 2 miles away, if memory serves.
We march to make the first strike in the name of his grace.
I assure you, my nephew will not begrudge me a night of comfort. If it soothes your brow, Cole, we will rendezvous with your army at first light. Or if their wine is good, perhaps a little after first light.
We're exposed.
What? Cole?
Get to the trees!
Did they see something?
What did he see? A dragon? Yeah, something flying up there.
Oh, yikes.
Oh. It's,
Is that Rhaenyra? No, that's Baela?
Yeah.
Baela or Rhaena? That's Baela.
Oh, it's crazy.
They shot
It's the reflection, the light reflecting off their armor.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought they shot something up in the air, but they didn't have anything, obviously.
She's coming in hot. Bro, the speed difference is insane.
Yeah, she's not gonna kill them. There's no way. It's too soon for that.
Maybe she just wanted to ID them? I don't know. Or question them. I mean, if she really wanted to, she could burn down that whole forest. You live another day, Sir Master of Tongues.
I'm in your debt.
They know we're abroad, they'll be hunting. And we must move under the trees and by cover of dark starting tonight.
And no fucking inns.
Sir Criston Cole, with some half-dozen other knights, I'm sure of it. Perhaps a scout party for a greater army.
The ravens confirm it, Your Grace.
Could you be certain it was Cole from such a great height?
It was not such a great height, Your Grace.
Yeah, she got pretty low.
Cole will look to increase his numbers, and he may call upon a dragon of his own.
This is why you must act now, Your Grace. Loose the dragons, root Cole out, and burn him.
Oh, do you think it's because it's him that she's hesitating?
Maybe.
Oh, come on.
She's got feelings still?
I don't know about maybe like the nostalgia of it. She'll have a conversation with Rhaenys before she does anything.
Yeah, Rhaenys, I think, sniffs something out there, though. She could tell that there's a reason why she's hesitating.
Because she didn't oppose any of them, Rhaenys. And I think usually she might.
Barricaded the doors. I wonder who's after him. Why don't you ask who it is? Maybe it's that girl that popped in that didn't bow or anything. Sounds like a girl singing.
Yeah, it sounds creepy as hell is what it is.
What the hell?
Always coming and going, aren't you?
This man dreaming?
And I have to clean up afterwards.
Oh my god. Young Rhaenyra stitching the damn child's neck.
So I had seen on Twitter, someone said there is a cameo that people are spoiling. Watch the episode. This is the cameo. Millie Alcock.
Yeah, because, well, the thing is, I had heard once they greenlit season 2,
Did
was
flashback.
that they were going to bring both the young versions back of Rhaenyra and Alicent because they loved them so much. But I knew that she was going to show up.
You will die in this place.
Oh, he ended up at that tree. The fuck? I'm sorry, are you like
Oh, is that like the tree of life? Like
yeah, it looks like it. Looks like one.
That was crazy. You being afflicted by something?
What do you know of the movements of Alicent Hightower?
Would you take her hostage? Kill her outright?
I would speak with her myself.
Killing her would be easier.
Definitely.
She sent a raven. She has expressed her remorse.
You can have a message brought to her in secret.
She would not agree to it. She would suspect some subterfuge. I must see her. Face to face.
How are you going to arrange this? This is crazy.
Right.
You have to sneak her in.
There are fishing boats aplenty in the bay.
But if I'm recognized?
You may be surprised to learn it, but most folk pay no mind to a woman who has not dressed as a queen or lured herself with the eyes of men.
I make my way to the Red Keep, I presume, and ring the bell. Or do I scale the wall and enter her window?
There is one place Alicent goes. Outside the castle walls. Where you may yet find her alone.
Is it like the crypt?
I don't know. I don't know if that's outside the castle walls.
Yeah, probably not. We haven't really seen her outside anywhere.
Not that I can remember.
Not lately, anyway. Oh yeah, she kind of looks unrecognizable, not gonna lie. The church, I guess.
She's gonna blend in.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, maybe the crypt is there. I don't know.
I don't know what they call this place. Interesting.
Hidden blades, some Assassin's Creed type shit.
Yeah.
Blending in. It is.
I don't know if this is called the crypt or whatever. The crypt, I think, is where people are dead.
Oh, I see.
But this is the place I was talking
the place
about.
where
So
she lights the candles.
maybe it wasn't the crypt, but the temple, I guess, whatever they call it in the world.
So I'm assuming guards stay outside.
Probably, yeah.
This is nuts.
No. I must speak with you.
She had a knife hidden.
If I could cry out, your knights would find me. I would be taken or slain. Though not before I killed you.
And then what?
Oh, I have begun badly.
She's like, we both died, then what?
Rhaenys has counselled me. She said she saw in you a wish to avert the worst of what may now come.
So you've come to surrender then?
I have come to see if we may uncover some path towards peace. My dragons are restless. They smell battle. But if you and I may come to terms...
There are no terms now. You have no army.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This is kind of naive.
I am a mother too, and you have yet to answer for the murder of my son.
I repudiate that act with all my heart.
Of course you do. I'm usurping my rightful inheritance. I saw the king that night. Mere hours before I left him, he had affirmed my right to the throne. A right he upheld steadfastly every day of his life after my mother died.
Ooh.
You lie.
All of a misunderstanding. Like,
When was your plan first laid? Was your ambition so keen?
He changed his mind, Rhaenyra. He changed his mind. I swear this to you, on the memory of my mother.
Oh boy.
I pronounce before all gathered in that room that you would make a fine queen. Do you think me capable of such naked deceit?
What did he say at the end? Did he speak my name?
It was hard at times to understand, but he spoke Egon's name.
And she still ran with it.
He said he was the prince that was promised to unite the realm.
What?
I desire peace as you do, but to possess...
Did my father use those words? The prince that was promised? Did he?
Yes, he did.
yeah, see, she knows something different. Princess promises her son, right?
See, she knows. No, it's not about her son. She just realized that it was he probably thought it was her, which is that was the case. He thought he was talking to Rhaenyra.
Yeah, I remember that part. So is she going to accept now that there was a mistake? Or...
I don't know.
You must go before you are discovered.
I think they're both in doubt now.
You can prevent this, Alicent.
See, she knows.
A terrible war is looming. And even victory may be so bloody as to be counted a loss. Do not let your pride blind you.
There's been no mistake. My father has gone from court. God is on the march, Aemon. You know what Aemon is? It's too late, Rhaenyra.
Alicent.
it almost feels like she did realize.
Yeah.
There, but...
There was definitely doubt like crept in her mind.
Mm-hmm. But she's like, it's too late. There's nothing you can do about it now. Like she has no control over anything.
It's just crazy that she like came here and did this.
Insane. And this is where we end.
It's like a little bit of another setup episode. We start to see some developments of the Riverlands. We start off the episode with this conflict with these two houses that we've never seen, the Brackens and the Blackwoods.
Yep.
Clearly there's been a feud for a very long time, but we've seen already that both sides have declared one side or the other. The Brackens seem to have declared for the Greens, and the Blackwoods have seemed to declare for the Blacks, which is fitting. But you know, it's interesting to see, you know, how sides will find excuses to fight now that there is a war. Mm-hmm. And I think one thing that scene showed is this like lust for blood and lust for war and gore and glory that Rhaenyra talks about at the end, right? And it's interesting how these things happen. Like, it feels like there are just people waiting to fight in the backgrounds, in the shadows, like waiting for something to happen, and are quick to jump to it. And we see that with Daemon. We see that with other people in the council, right? Like in both councils for the Greens or the Blacks, you see Rhaenyra's council like constantly telling her to act quickly. We have to act quickly. And then in the Greens council, Aegon's council, everybody's in disarray, deciding like how to start the battle and whatnot. And it's just it's telling to me that very clearly some people want war and some people don't want war.
Yeah.
And I was just going to ask you, it feels clear where this is going in terms of war, but do you think that there is some merit to later in the episode where Rhaenyra tries to see if there's a peaceful way to proceed, or is it not even worth talking about?
I mean, I commend her for trying, right? Because she's definitely taking the more like mature approach, even though her aim still through the whole thing is like, yeah, I want peace, but also like the throne's mine, you know? So she's ballsy as hell for going through with that plan. And it's crazy that it worked. Like that she was actually able to get there and talk to Alicent, but
but I just remember, like, you know, her dad was a peaceful king. Like there was no war in his reign. Like the closest thing was the conflict in the Stepstones that Daemon and Corlys fought. But otherwise, like, she is trying to avoid this at all costs. But it's clear right from the very get-go that war is inevitable. Like these warring factions are going to come to a head.
Yeah. I mean, from what Alicent tells her, yes. Rhaenyra is like trying to bring peace and thinks that, you know, she can stop everything from happening. But Alicent reveals the truth because she's the one who's, you know, being able to see everything behind the scenes. And she's like, yo, they already are out there. Sir Criston is already like navigating, like going that way. My son wants revenge. Like there's nothing I can do. My dad's no longer the hand.
Right.
I have no control. I have no say.
Yeah. Alicent sort of feels like one of the more powerless ones now, based on the change in dynamic on that side.
Yep.
Her dad, although her and her dad were butting heads a lot, like they did have some level of like loyalty towards each other and wanting to see each other succeed. And now that he's kind of out of the picture, it feels like Alicent is more of on the periphery.
I think this conversation could go a lot different, or the result of this conversation could go a lot different if Otto was still the hand, because Alicent could go back to him and be like, I think there's been a mistake.
Yeah.
I don't know how he would take that.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think maybe he would want to use it against Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
But I see it a little bit, not to jump ahead because I want to go through some of the events that happen, but I do see it a little bit as naive, like being a little naive on Rhaenyra's part, because everybody else wants war.
Yeah.
Everybody else is looking for an opportunity to fight.
Yeah.
And like has chosen their sides of what the rightful heir is. Like we've seen now, you know, Eric and Eric's death, which actually brings me back to a segue, but like Eric and Eric's death was almost a symbolism of like two warring sides, like once friends, once brothers, now like battle to the death because of this conflict.
Yeah.
And switching back over to the plot point, like you called out an amazing shot where you see both of the Eric brothers in their grave, basically.
Yeah.
And then you see them looking down, and then looking back up in the next transition shot is Criston Cole, who's kind of responsible for all of this.
Yep.
And we see now, like on both sides, this like rashness to get to battle, right? from the black side, it's more Daemon. He's probably the more rash, and even her council, like they are encouraging a little bit of swift action. And then on the green side, there is a bit of rashness from Aegon and from Kristen, and it's like it feels like both sides could use an adult in the room, to calm both of them down.
Yeah.
But what do you make of Kristen Cole as the hand so far? Positives, negatives, anything you see going well?
It looked like he was gonna shit his pants when he was gonna make his way to a small council meeting.
I agree.
He clearly does not know how to operate in that realm. Like we saw that he does have the confidence to operate when he's out in the field, and like he has good instincts because he saw Bela, like the dragon, coming from way
Super
far away,
yep.
and knew exactly what to do in that situation to make sure that everyone didn't die. Right. So he in terms of fighting and stuff, he's got the instincts. He's a good knight.
Yeah.
But in terms of being hand of the king, that's something that takes like discipline and patience and wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he does not have.
And here's the thing for me with Kristen is like, it seems naive from his part too that I know we haven't seen this come out of his mouth, but like, that he's just willing and ready to take on the hand of the king. I mean, Otto was replaced so quickly. Does he not think that he is easily replaceable? Which we see later on, Lord Larys come through and have another conversation with Aegon, advising him, basically telling him not to go out into battle. I mean, that's a massive risk. You're risking a dragon, which is already a limited resources for this side of the group, or this side of the war, and also like exposing the king himself to battle. Like that's so stupid, especially after the death of your one heir. That is a risk that you couldn't take, which is something that like a hand would be making sure that the king doesn't step. Like Otto would be making sure that he stays there. So to me, it's just another development of Larys making the case for his potential seat on the council, which it sounds like he's getting, right? Master of Whispers. And then I think that Larys is also seeing like, this is just my in so that I could potentially become hand.
Yeah. I don't know if Master of Whispers holds enough of a title that he gets to be involved in the small council, but he is definitely...
Oh, he does.
Is he? Okay.
Well, in the past, so Otto and Viserys did not see need for Master of Whispers. But if you look on like Game of Thrones in the council where, what was his name? Varys. Varys is the Master of Whispers. He sat on the council.
Yeah.
So it is an important. Some people just see it as like deceitful, I guess, or trickery, but it is a super important skill to have. And you see on Rhaenyra's side that she has Lady Massaria, the White Worm, kind of serving that role unofficially for her, and there's definitely pros to it.
Yeah. The one thing though is that I am not sure of. If you compare Master of Whispers, if you look at Varys compared to Larys, Varys was good at his job because he actually did have whispers and brought stuff, right? Whereas Larys is making shit up.
I don't know. I don't know if he's making shit up.
He did there. He said he told Aegon. He's like, oh yeah, there are rumors that while you're away that Aemond and Alicent are going to rule in your place for a temporary time, whatever, blah blah blah, and that's making him like insecure of like, oh my god, I could lose my position on the throne.
100%, but it's also like, but he does that. There's a tinge to the truth of when he says those things. He like weaponizes these rumors that in a very manipulating way. Varys was a little bit more transparent in the way that he operated, but Larys always has like a underlying thing because there was another thing that he did this with when it was Alicent. You remember when he started to mention, I thought there was a tea brought to the princess. I hope she's well. Oh, maybe I'm mistaken. Like, no, he knew.
Yeah.
But he's weaponizing it. He's using it in a way that is going to make them react. And that is the thing about Larys that you can tell he has that a little bit of that little finger in him where like the things that he does and says is self-serving.
He uses things in a manipulative way.
Yeah, 100%
is how I would rephrase that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
100%.
I don't know how long that's going to last. Like someone's going to find him out eventually.
Oh yeah.
Right?
And someone's going to want to kill him. We know he has enemies based on the conversation that we have with, or the conversation we see with Daemon and the other Strong who is in Harrenhal, who's in the Riverlands.
Yeah.
And Daemon's basically questioning him as like, what about Larys? And they're like, we don't mess with Larys. Like, we know what he did. He killed Lionel. He killed Harwin.
Killed his own family.
He killed his own family. He's not trustworthy. So people know he has this reputation. But it's just like, is his power and his network, strong enough? You want that on your side. I think that's where Aegon's mind is at. But we see Daemon, moving on to what happens in Harrenhal. We see Daemon trying to go out and get them to join forces with them.
Yeah.
But he's there alone. The castle's a little bit in disarray. He's trying to get the resources all squared away. And one thing I wanted to ask you about is, like, we've had this kind of back and forth, and there was a little bit of debate in our comments about Daemon's want for power. Folks were arguing, and I totally hear the argument that he is loyal, that he is like unwillingly, like unfalteringly, like willing to die for the Targaryens and like his family and all of that. But again, we see in this episode where like he's like insisting he's called Your Grace, right? Even though he's kind of the king consort, and it's not really established that he's the king, but he's like, Your Grace, like establish me as that. Did you take that at all as him being like, that additional grasp for power? The little bit of like big headedness of thinking that like this is all about him rather than Rhaenyra?
Yeah, of course. I think his whole mentality was that way until he started hearing things and saw that like vision, right? Whatever that tree was, if it's the tree of, what was it called?
I don't know exactly the name of the tree. I thought it was like the tree of life or something like that, but I couldn't find out.
When it came to that point, I think he's kind of like in a shock because he sees young Rhaenyra, right? And shout out Millie Alcock because I loved her performance in season 1.
Very good.
He sees her stitching the Jaehaerys's head back together, which to me signifies like, oh, I'm out here, I screwed things up, but Rhaenyra's here trying to fix the unfixable, right? She's still out here trying to do good and like trying to mend things together.
Yeah.
That's how I saw that. And then afterwards, he kind of like comes back to consciousness from everything. He's in front of that tree.
I think they're called wirewoods.
Wirewoods.
The tree.
And potentially, right? That's what it looked like to us. And then that girl, that she was the only one who didn't like kneel, I guess, to him when he came in. And she just looks at him. He's like, "You're going to die here." And then just walks away.
Yeah.
So like very much foreshadowing, I think, right?
Yeah. And he's being afflicted by something like that feels like something on his conscience.
But and I don't know if that's going to be enough to like shift his mindset on everything that's happening. But I do feel like that was a moment for him that can affect his mindset.
Yeah, maybe. And I just thought it was so telling that it was like the young Rhaenyra cleaning up the mess of the rash uncle that just like acts out of his own self-interest and doesn't really think before he makes rash actions. So
yeah,
that was telling. Another thing that we see that's of significance in this is we have Rhaenyra, who has asked Rhaena, the daughter of Daemon, to basically fly to Pentos and take the young children and care for them, basically asking her to be their mother, which is a big ask. You can see that Rhaena's not necessarily pleased or happy with that, but she does it because that's her queen. That's her aunt, stepmom.
It's the
whatever.
Kids and the dragon eggs.
And the dragon eggs, yes. And basically the significance that I got from that is that she is saying like the future of House Targaryen, at least from their side, their future is here in these eggs, in these children, and like you are responsible for taking that. And while it seemed like she didn't want to go, she recognized the importance of carrying on that legacy.
Yeah.
Which I thought was significant. Anything that you thought about that moment, or that you think that, do you think it'll be something, because this is what I was thinking when I saw it, a separate storyline that we'll see developing as the war happens in Westeros?
I'm not sure.
Because like we used to see when Arya left Westeros and went to like the many-faced god's temple and all that, we'd see that storyline develop away from the rest of the kingdom.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that is going to be a similar sort of thing happening here, where you see the young children grow up, Rhaena taking care of them and like nurturing them.
I don't think we're going to see them, to be honest. I think they'll come back later on.
Okay.
And yeah, we won't see them for a while, and then they'll come back. That's my assumption. Although what you said very much could happen. But I feel like
how fast they want to develop.
I feel like her role is going to play into the conversation that Corlys was having with his wife, who I'm forgetting her name, Rhaenys, because
who should be the heir of Driftmark,
right?
Yeah,
exactly. And now it's like she is the mother, essentially, of Rhaenyra's children. If something happens to Rhaenyra, she is the mother of the children, and who potentially could be the rightful heirs of the throne, depending on what the hell happens here.
Yeah.
And also, she possesses 4 dragons.
Yeah, something like that.
Plus whatever one she's riding on.
I think she has like 1 or 2.
I think she had 4 eggs that they gave her.
Yeah, 1 or 2 like small dragons, and then she's got 4 eggs or something like that.
Yeah. So she has a lot of power in her hands.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra gave her a lot of power in her hands. It's not like right now, it's like, doesn't seem like anything, but give it a few years and
and either her or Joffrey are the heirs to Driftmark, which is the conversation that Corlys was having with Rhaenys, which is like there's a lot of importance in those two over there, which honestly is kind of a good thing, I think, if you're thinking about the safety of the legacy, the future legacy, like having them away from the war.
But isn't it weird too? Like, so is she the one that they wanted to get married to, potentially to Joffrey, or is it Baela?
Oh, I don't know.
I couldn't remember, but that would be
they wanted it to get
be so strange if she's like a mother to him, and then
she
raises him.
The incest in this show actually goes way crazier than the regular House of the Dragons. Like you can't avoid the incest here.
Yeah.
So I mean the last like biggest development of this entire episode here. Well, there's a couple actually. There's one smaller one, and then we'll get to Rhaenyra and Alicent's coming together. But the smaller one was there was a tavern scene in the brothel where we see this man who comes in and starts to talk to a couple of other guys, and he's basically claiming that he's the bastard son or the bastard brother of Daemon and Viserys, which is wild because we had no idea that was the case. I still don't know at this moment if that guy was just like yapping and like saying BS or if that's actually the case.
I think he might have been just yapping or maybe trying to infiltrate people's ears to lean more towards Rhaenyra's side or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt odd. It felt like a half introduction to a character. Whether or not that guy, it feels like he's of importance. Otherwise, it was just like creating a little bit of context for a transition for Aegon to come into the brothel. But it'll be interesting to see if he comes back, and if he is actually the bastard brother, what does that mean? And he called himself a dragon rider, I think.
He said that the dragon whatever runs through his blood.
No, I think he said like something like where I don't have like white cloaks to defend me, so Dragon Rider has to like watch out for himself, kind of thing.
I see.
Which I found interesting. So it'll be interesting to see if he's real or fake. And then we see Aegon come into the tavern and absolutely blow up Aemon's spot, kind of humiliating him in kind of his drunken banter. What did you feel? How did you feel about Aemon's response? Because I felt like it was very measured and kind of calculated. He didn't really start shit or stir shit. Clearly, he was deflecting a little bit.
I mean, he couldn't. There's nothing you can do, because it's the king. It is his brother. They could have like a brotherly feud, but he has to also like notice that that's the king, and there are people with him. There's witnesses. There's everything, and also he feels embarrassed.
Yep.
But it's that whole plot line with Aegon and Aemond is reminding me a little bit. It's almost like echoing Viserys and Daemon. Not exactly to the T, because we don't know that Viserys was like a bully to Daemon as a kid. And stuff like that, But we do know that they had their disagreements and not the greatest relationship. So I feel like that is a comparison there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I think the major comparison is that one is the heir, and the one has the throne and the other does not. So one is constantly in the other's shadow, and how they take that and respond to it is a very big interest, because we saw how Daemon responded to it. Not great. For most of his reign, it felt like Viserys and him were enemies. Now, Aemon seems, Aegon is under the impression that Aemon's like his lapdog, is a most loyal soldier who's going to lay down his life and do whatever he asks. I don't get the impression that's fully Aemon's thing, but Aemon understands the politics of appearance in needing to seem at least like he is on his brother's side, because his brother's a little bit crazy. Like, who knows? He might get himself killed. If he gets himself killed, he no longer has an heir. So what does that mean? That means that he's the heir.
Yeah.
So to me, I think Aemon is being very calculated in the way that he kind of presents himself, and especially in public with Aegon.
Yeah.
And then before we wrap up, there's the major, I guess, climax of this episode where Rhaenyra is able to find her way into this temple to see Alicent outside the Red Keep, and basically this confrontation of last-ditch effort. Can we avoid war? Is there any way to? We talked a little bit about it. I think we both think it's a little bit naive, because everybody else is kind of on the side of war.
Yeah.
And is ready to go. And not like either of them would just concede, right? Like they've gotten this far because both of them have doubled down, especially even on Alicent's side. Like, she can say it was Otto, she can say it was whoever, but she was one of the main catalysts for this whole split. Yeah. So what did you get from the conversation that they had, in which Alicent reveals that she heard Viserys talking about Aegon the Conqueror and the Song of Ice and Fire, and it seemed like Rhaenyra was talking about, is this a mistake or is it not? What did you get from that conversation?
At first, it seemed like Alicent was very confident in the fact, he mentioned Aegon's name, this, that, and the third. But then when Rhaenyra brings up the Song of Ice and Fire story and all that stuff, and that it's about Aegon the Conqueror and whatever, it almost seemed like Alicent had some doubt to me. But unfortunately, she came to the realization that nothing can be done.
Yeah.
Because she holds no power. Things are already in place. You can't avoid what's coming. And
almost maybe a little bit of embarrassment of it's too far gone at this point. Maybe if I had known it was a mistake, we could have avoided all this bloodshed.
Yeah.
That has happened and now will happen. Rhaenyra lost a son. Her son, she lost her grandson. Already we're here, and it all could have been because of a mistake that she interpreted incorrectly.
Yep.
So it almost felt like to me that she needed to escape that conversation because she couldn't think about it.
It's,
exactly.
It's in her conscience, affecting her.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's,
I don't know if Alicent is going to now try to process this behind the scenes and come to some sort of decision as to, try to help Rhaenyra in some way, or agree with her, we can fix this or whatever. I don't know.
No,
I don't know. I think it has to come to a point where she feels disrespected by her son or something.
Even then, she knows how little power she holds in this court.
I get that.
It's so ridiculous how, and I think there's a little bit of a theme here. I don't want to go too hard on the men versus women thing, but it's very clear in these courts who is listened to and who thinks they have a platform. Alicent's voice is so small on this court, and Rhaenyra and Rhaenys are constantly challenged on theirs.
Yeah.
So I think they kind of recognize the world that they're in.
The one thing that she has going for her, if she plays her cards right, is that she's sleeping with the hand. And if she can somehow convince him this is a mistake or something, maybe something can happen. I don't know how the hierarchy of things work.
But even in this episode, we've seen them butt heads already with Kristen and Alicent. So for me, I'm that is why I think she thinks now that she has literally no pull in any of this.
They butt heads, but he also is oh, can I have the queen's favor or whatever? Or
sure. But there was a decision that was made earlier in the episode that he was we need to ride, we need to go now. And she was like, you should gather more men, gather more forces, whatever, being rash. And he was like, time is my friend, blah, 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 and ignoring her advice. So it's clear to me, like, again, nobody listens to her. The closest that she was aligned to was with Otto. And lately it feels like her influence is only slipping. So if she thinks that Kristen Cole is going to be some sort of ally to her, I think she has some work to do. Yeah.
I think maybe Otto has to come back as the Hand somehow, some way for things to
third time's the charm, brother. Like, I don't know how many times you can be fired and rehired as the Hand. There's got to be a record.
Hey, if Cole dies, then who's next?
Larys, yeah, 100%. I think Aegon. I think Aegon has too much pride to go back to Otto.
Yeah, we'll see
based on what we've seen. But what an episode, man! Another good one. It only feels like we're getting closer and closer to some true bloodshed craziness. So in true Game of Thrones fashion, we will be seated and ready for that.
Heck yeah.
Thank you all for listening and watching. If you are brand new to this, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you like our content, hit the like button and share this with your friends so that they can hear our thoughts on House of the Dragon. And also share your thoughts down below in the comments as well. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and we will see you on the next reaction. Bye-bye.